2021 and it's now 24 months since I went to China in 2019. I'll give you a setting. It was 2 months before the first COVID case in Wuhan, and to continue on with that, China was actually easy to get into. There was no hoops or vaccine passports to jump through. I'd been accepted through a scholarship into a 10-day trip around China, especially the Guangdong and Shenzhen province. So essentially, we'd gone on this trip to see business and PR agencies and understand how they do business in China. And so who would have thought we'd arrived in China, and on the first day they'd put us on a bus and we were heading 2 hours south to the sea. So here it is, the second largest bridge in the world. We might have not got the best day, but hey, we got a pretty cool boat ride. And you know what? Just to start the propaganda, here are a couple of clips of what happened on that ferry. See, I don't know, that is the most patriotic thing I've seen in quite some time. Like, imagine they're handing out flags, they're handing out stickers. They want you to sing and chant like the anthem. It's pretty patriotic. Yeah, see this bloke over here? I kind of feel sorry for him. He had no say in this. Anyway, so a few days progressed. We checked out a few more schools that were really good and really interesting. And we were lucky enough to get our way into seeing Huawei headquarters in Shenzhen. Alrighty, so we're in Guangzhou today, and we've got this bus behind me to take 14 people to Shenzhen on a 2-hour bus ride. It's gonna be a pretty squeezy fit, but we're going to DJI and Huawei, so this should be a pretty fun day of interviews. Initially, they showed us around the consumer section that showed us smartphones, but we were lucky enough to get an insight into the enterprise area. As you can see, it was very well decked out, and they'd really thought on how they'd make a good impression to people coming and visiting the showroom. At this stage, Huawei was trying to get into a lot of AI technology, and as you can see here, we were looking at a smart city which showed interactive maps and videos of live data. One of the instances they showed us was a petrol tanker crashing and exploding, and the information that was pulled from this smart city technology was all the sensors of surrounding buildings, lights, footpaths, came back to a central system that then alerted people to send the fire trucks. The smart city showed how automated response plans and alerts were sent out to response teams with valuable information. These included fire hydrant pressures, victims at the scene using facial recognition, and live tracking of emergency vehicles on their way to put out the fire. So the government has sort of used a lot of cameras to figure out where people actually were and who was involved in this situation. And this can be done through point, toggle, and zoom. As you can see here, straight outside our hotel, look at all these surrounding cameras. There are a lot of cameras on the street. So we just at a soy sauce factory in the next province outside of Guangzhou. It's a pretty cool factory. It's the largest soy sauce factory in the world, reportedly, consisting of just usual soy sauce and then other flavours like apple vinegar, that sort of thing. And it's incredible how much thought processing goes into the making of these machines. There's 52,000 bottles made every day. That's roughly like 3 million a month or something. And they have storage for 3 million bottles, so it's a big operation here, and we're only just touching the surface. So I'll take you through and show you what I can and can't film, but it is massive. That was the strongest smell of soy sauce I've ever had, and I'm excited to taste it. China's currency is advanced in a way where we now are seeing most transactions appear using WeChat. Cash is well on its way out there, but also many people are switching to digital currencies. As you can see here, QR codes were a thing of 2019 before COVID and contact tracing came in. The QR was a great way for them to connect, whether it be payment, information, or even just signing into a certain location. So it sort of got to me when I arrived back in Australia to actually make a video about this, because it's interesting when you compare Australia's freedoms and China's freedoms together.
I'm not gonna lie, this pretty quick game that they're playing is pretty cool. Like, I don't think we have anything like this in Australia where a lot of people meet up in a group and play a little multiplayer.
Another really interesting site that we saw was the DJI flagship headquarters. The gentleman Mike who showed us around the showroom also explained to us that they've moved away from consumer products and more towards industrial robotics. So currently at DJI flagship store here in Shenzhen, and it's really interesting to see that they've actually moved away from the drone market as they've saturated 70% of the market share. And they've moved on to sort of agricultural things like this, which is used for sort of fertilizing crops and that sort of thing. And they've also moved away from drones onto robots. So I'll show you over here. This product hasn't been released in Australia yet, but it'll be released in about 2 weeks. And it's a robot, so essentially it can be used as a gaming device. People can use it to sort of as a Nerf gun sort of thing, and you have a four-wheel drive system that all works simultaneously. So you can see that they've moved away from a lot of consumer stuff, and it also shows that there's a lot of market out there that hasn't actually been explored yet, more for the side of not only flying drones but also around the whole just entertainment aspect of gimbals and that sort of technology. So it's really interesting. Another thing worth noting is with land rezoning, it's completely different to Australia. Australia, you've got to go through a lot of DA and council approval to get roads, tracks and tunnels put in place. Whereas here, as you can see, this is the highway between Shenzhen and Guangzhou. Don't get me wrong, they're two big economic centres, but as you can see, the highways are straight, the bridges are big, and it just seems to me that they just build an 8-lane highway wherever they need to go, straight over the top of everything. China is a lot more economically advanced, and how their methods of production and supply chain management are a lot different to Australia. They manufacture the products there, they have headquarters there, and as you can see, it's really advanced. So that's it, that's a quick glimpse into my China trip in 2019. Thanks for watching, apologies for the glare, but hey, that's it, that's a wrap.